Lord Chaitanya's mission. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed his disciples to write books on the science of Krishna, a task which his followers have continued to carry out down to the present day. The elaborations and expositions on the philosophy taught by Lord Chaitanya are in fact most voluminous, exacting, and consistent due to the system of disciplic succession. Although Lord Chaitanya was widely renowned as a scholar in his youth, he left only eight verses called Shikshashtaka. These 8 verses clearly reveal his mission and precepts. These supremely valuable prayers are translated here. Glorified to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart uh, of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of birth and death, and please place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When my voice will choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on the end of and at the recitation of your name, holy name?
O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain. So even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me, he is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worship Lord unconditionally. There is no difference between the teaching of Lord Chaitanya presented here and the teaching of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The teaching of Lord Chaitanya are practical demonstration of Lord Krishna's teaching. Lord Krishna's ultimate instruction in Bhagavad Gita is that everyone should surrender unto him. Krishna promises to take immediate charge of such a surrendered soul. The Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is already in charge of the maintenance of this creation by virtue of his plenary expansion. Shrodaka say Vishnu, but this maintenance is not direct. However, when the Lord says that he takes charge of his pure devotees, he actually takes charge. A pure devotee is a soul who is forever surrendered to the Lord, just as a child is surrendered to his parents or an animal to its master. In the surrounding process, one should accept things favorable for discharging devotional service, reject things unfavorable, believe firmly in the Lord's protection, feel exclusively dependent on the mercy of the Lord, have no interest separate from the interest of the Lord, and always feel oneself meek and humble. Mataji, should I continue? The Lord demands that one surrender unto him by following these six guidelines. But the unintelligent so-called scholar of the world misunderstand these demands and urge the general mass of people to reject them. At the conclusion of the ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna directly says, engage your mind always in thinking of me, offer obeisances and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. However, the scholarly demands misguide the masses of people by directly them to the impersonal, unmanifest, eternal, unborn truth rather than the personality of Godhead. The impersonalist, Mayavadi philosopher do not accept uh, that the ultimate aspect of the absolute truth is the supreme personality of Godhead. If one desire to understand the sun as it is, one must first face the sunshine, then the sun globe, and after entering into that globe, come face to face with the predominating deity of the sun. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, the Mayavadi philosopher cannot go beyond the Brahman effulgence, which may be compared to the sunshine. The Upanishads confirm that one has to penetrate the dazzling effulgence of Brahmans before one can see the real face of the personality of God.
Lord Chaitanya also recommended that that the highest mode of worship in the highest perfectional stage is the method practiced by the damals of Vraj. This damsels, gopis, and coward girls simply loved Krishna without a motive. Mot- Sorry, मैं फिर से पढ़ रही हूँ. Lord Chaitanya, the F, F therefore teaches direct worship of Lord Krishna, who appeared as the foster child of the king of Vraj. He also suggests that the place known as Vrindavan is as good as Lord Krishna, because there is no difference between the name, quality, form, pastime, in intolerance, and preferential of Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna himself, that is the absolute nature of the absolute truth. Lord Chaitanya also recommended that the highest mode of worship is the highest perfectional stage, is the method practiced by the damsels of Braj. These damsels, gopis, are coward girls, simply loved Krishna without a motive for material or spiritual gain. Chaitanya also recommended Srimad Bhagavatam as the spotless narration of transcendental knowledge, and he pointed out that the highest goal in human life is to develop unallowed love for Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead.
Lord
Lord,
Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya's teachings are identical to those given by Lord Kapila, the original profounder of Sankhya Yoga, the Sankhya system of philosophy. This authorized system of yoga recommends meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord. There is no question of meditating on something void or impersonal. One can meditate on the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu even without practicing involved sitting postures. Such meditation is called perfect samadhi. This perfect samadhi is verified at the end of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, and all of and of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me, worshipping, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Lord Chaitanya instructed the mass of people in the Sankhya philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, which maintains that that the Supreme Lord is simultaneously one with and different from his creation. Lord Chaitanya taught his philosophy through the chanting of holy name of Lord. He taught that the holy name of Lord is sound incarnation of the Lord, and that since the Lord is absolute whole, there is no difference between his holy name and his transcendental form. Thus, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can directly associate with Supreme Lord by sound vibration. As one practices this sound vibration, he passes through three stages of development: the offensive stage, the clearing stage, and the transcendental stage. In the offensive stage, one may desire all kind of material happiness, but in the second stage, one becomes clear of all material contamination. When one is situated on the transcendental stage, he attains the most coveted position, the stage of loving God. Lord Chaitanya taught that this is the highest stage of perfection for human being.
Yoga practice is essentially meant for controlling the senses. The central controlling factor for all of all the senses is the mind. Therefore, one first has to practice controlling the mind by engaging it in Krishna consciousness. The gross activities of the mind are expressed through the external senses, either for the acquiring of knowledge or for the functioning of the senses, in accordance to the will. The subtle activities of the mind are thinking, feeling, and willing. In accordance to one's consciousness, the individual is either polluted or clear. If one's mind is fixed on Krishna, his name, quality, form, pastime, Pandora, and paraphernalia, all one's activity, both subtle and gross, become favorable. The Bhagavad Gita's process of purifying consciousness is the process of fixing one's mind on Krishna by talking on his transcendental activities, cleansing his temples, so going to his temple, seeing the beautiful transcendental form of the Lord, nicely decorated, hearing his transcendental glories, tasting offered to him, associating with his devotees, smelling the flowers and tulsi leaves offered to him, engaging in activities for the Lord's interest, etc. No one can bring the activities of the mind and senses to a stop, but one can purify these activities through a change in consciousness. This change is indicated when Krishna tells Arjuna of the knowledge of yoga, whereby one can work without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act by such intelligence, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. A human being is sometimes restricted in sense gratification due to certain circumstances such as disease, etc. But this is not the prescription. Without knowing the actual process by which the mind and senses can be controlled, less intelligent men either try to stop the mind and senses by force or they give in to them and are carried away by the waves of sense gratification. Priyanka.
The regulative principles and the rules of yoga, the various sitting postures and breathing exercises performed in an attempt to withdraw one's senses from the sense objects, a method meant for those who are too much engrossed in the bodily conception of life. The intelligent man who is situated in Krishna consciousness does not try to forcibly stop his senses from acting. Rather, he engages his senses in the service of Krishna. No one can stop a child from playing by leaving him inactive. A child can be stopped from engaging in nonsense by being engaged in superior activities. The forceful restraint of sense activities by the eight principles of yoga is recommended for the inferior man. Being engaged in the superior activities of Krishna consciousness, superior men naturally retire from the inferior activities of material existence. In this way, Lord Chaitanya teaches the science of Krishna consciousness. That science is absolute. Dry mental speculators try to restrain themselves from material attachment, but it is generally found that the mind is too strong to be controlled, and that it drags them down to sensual activities. A person in Krishna consciousness does not run into this risk. One has to engage his mind and senses in Krishna conscious activities, and Lord Chaitanya teaches one how to do this in practice.
Before accepting sannyasa, the renounced order, Lord Chaitanya was known as Vishambhara. The word Vishambhar refers to one who maintains the entire universe and who leads all living entities. This maintainer and leader appeared as Lord Krishna or as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya to give humanity these sublime teachings. Lord Chaitanya is the ideal teacher of life's prime necessities. He is the most munificent bestower of love of Krishna. He is the complete reservoir of all mercies of God, of good fortune. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and the Upanishads, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, and he is worshipable by everyone in this age of disagreement. Everyone can join in his Sankirtan movement. No previous qualifications is necessary. Just by following his teachings, anyone can become a perfect human being. If one is fortunate enough to be attracted by his features, one is sure to be successful in one's life mission. In other words, those who are interested in attaining spiritual existence can be easily relieved from the clutches of Maya by the grace of Lord Chaitanya. These teachings presented in the book are not different from the Lord. Being engrossed in the material body, the conditioned soul increases the pages of history by all kinds of material activities. The teachings of Lord Chaitanya can help human society stop such unnecessary and temporary activities. By these teachings, humanity can be elevated to the topmost platform spiritual activity. These spiritual activities actually begin after liberation from material bondage. Such liberated activities in Krishna consciousness constitute the goal of human perfection. The false prestige one acquires by attempting to dominate material nature is illusionary. Illuminating knowledge can be acquired from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and by knowledge one can advance in spiritual existence.
Everyone
Everyone has to.
everyone has to suffer or enjoy the fruits of his activity. No one can check the laws of material nature which govern such things. As long as one is engaged in fruitive activity, he is sure to be baffled in an attempt to attain the ultimate goal of life. I sincerely hope that by understanding the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, human society will experience a new light of spiritual life which will open the field of activity for the pure soul. Om Tat Sat. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Prolonged by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This account originally appeared in a short work by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur entitled Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, His Life and Precepts.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in Mayapur in the town of Nadia just after sunset on the evening of the 23rd Falgun 1407 Sakhabda, answering to the 18th of February 1486 of the Christian era. The moon was eclipsed at the time of his birth, and the people of Nadia were then engaged, as was usual in such occasions, in bathing in the Bhagirathi with loud cheers of Hari Bol. His father Jagannath Mishra, a poor Brahman of the Vedic order, and his mother Sachi Devi, a model good woman, both descended from Brahman stock, originally resided in Sihet. Mahaprabhu was a beautiful child, and the ladies of the town came to see him with presents. His mother's father, Pandit Nilambar Chakravarti, a renowned astrologer, foretold that the child would be a great personage in time, and he therefore gave him the name Vishambhara. The ladies of the neighborhood styled him Gaurhari on account of his golden complexion, and his mother called him Nimai on account of the Nimai tree near which he was born. Beautiful as the lad was, everyone heartedly loved to see him every day. As he grew up, he became a whimsical and frolicsome lad. After his fifth year, he was admitted into a pathshala where he picked up Bengali in a very short time.
Most of his contemporary biographers have mentioned certain anecdotes regarding Chaitanya, which are simply records of his early miracles. It is said that when he was an infant in his mother's arm, he wept continually, and when the neighboring ladies cried Haribol, he used to stop. Thus there was a continuation of the utterance of Haribol in the house, foreshowing the future mission of the hero. He has also been stated that when his mother once gave him sweetmeats to eat, he ate clay instead of the food. His mother asking for the reason, he stated that as every sweetmeat was nothing but clay transformed, he could eat clay as well. His mother, who was the consort of a pandit, explained that every article in a special state was adapted to a special use. Earth, while in the state of a jug, could be used as a water pot, but in the state of a brick, such a use was not possible. Clay, therefore, in the form of sweetmeats, was usable as food but not clay in its other states. The lad was convinced and admitted his stupidity in eating clay and agreed to avoid the mistake in the future. Another miraculous act has been related. It is said that a Brahman on pilgrimage became a guest in his house, cooked his food, and read his grace with meditation on Krishna. In the meantime, the lad came and ate up the cooked rice. The Brahmana, astonished at the lad's act, cooked again at the request of Jagannath Mishra. The lad again ate up the cooked rice while the Brahman was offering the rice to Krishna with meditation. The Brahman was persuaded to cook for the third time. This time, all the inmates of the house had fallen asleep, and the lad showed himself as Krishna's to the traveler and blessed him. The Brahmana was then lost in ecstasy at the appearance of the object of his work.
It has also been stated that the two thieves stole away the lad from his father's door with a view to purloin his jewels and gave him sweetness on the way. The lad exercised his illusory energy and deceived the thieves back toward his own house. The thieves, for fear of detection, left the boy there and fled. Another miraculous act has been described that the lad demanding and getting from Hiranya and Jagadisha all the offerings they had collected for worshipping Krishna on the day of Ekadashi. When only four, when only 4 years of age, he sat on rejected cooking pots which were considered unholy by his mother. He explained to his mother that there was no question of holiness and unholiness as regarded earthen pots thrown away after cooking was over. These anecdotes relate to his tender age up to the fifth year. In his eighth year, he was admitted to the Tola school of Gangadas Pandit in the Ganganagar, close by the village of Mayapur. In 2 years, he became well read in Sanskrit grammar and rhetoric. His readings after that were of a nature of a self-study in his own house. When he found that all important books belonging to his father, who was a Pandita himself, it appears that he read the Smriti in his own study and the Nyaya also, in competition with his friends who were studying under the celebrated Pandit Raghunath Shiromani.
Now, after his 10th year, Chaitanya became a passable scholar in grammar, rhetoric, and the Smriti and Nyaya. It was after this that his elder brother Vishwarup left his house and accepted the ashram of a sannyasi. Chaitanya, though a very young boy, consoled his parents, saying that he would serve them with a view to please God. Just after that, his father left this world. His mother was exceedingly sorry, and Mahaprabhu, with his usual contented appearance, consoled his widowed mother. It was at the age of 14 or 15 that Mahaprabhu was married to Lakshmi Devi, daughter of Vallabhacharya, also of Nadia. He was at this age considered one of the best scholars of Nadia. She renowned seat of Nyaya philosophy and Sanskrit learning, not to speak of Smarta Pandit, the Nyayikas were all afraid of confronting him in literary discussions. Being a married man, he went to eastern Bengal on the banks of Padma for acquirement of wealth. There he displayed his learning and obtained a good sum of money.
It was at this time that he preached Vaishnavism at intervals. After teaching him the principle of Vaishnavism, he ordered Tapana Mishra to go and live in Banaras. During his residence in eastern Bengal, his wife Lakshmi Devi left this world from the effect of snake bite. On returning home, he found his mother in a mourning state. He consoled her with a lecture on uncertainty of human affairs. It was at his mother's request that he married Vishnupriya, the daughter of Raj Pandit Sanatan Mishra. His comrades joined him on his return from Pravasa or sojourn. He was now so renowned that he was considered to be the best Pandit in Nadia. Keshav Mishra of Kashmir, who had called himself the great Divyagyani Di- Dig Digvijay, 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 world conqueror, came to Nadia with a view to debate the Pandits of the place. Afraid of so-called conquering Pandit, the Tola professors of Nadia left their town on the pretense of invitation. Keshav met Mahaprabhu at the Barokana Ghat in Mayapur, and after a very short discussion with him, he got defeated by the boy. He got defeated by the boy, and mortica- mortification obliged him to decamp. Nimai Pandit was now the most important Pandit of the times.
Okay, so we'll continue here. Hare Krishna. Okay, so it's 6:30. We'll continue from here tomorrow. Muskan, will you do Guru Vandana? Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, Mata.
Okay, Muskan is there. So, bhai.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, yes, you can do Guru Vandana.
Yes. Shri Guru Charana Padma केवल भक्ति सद्मा वंदु मोहि सावधाना माते जाहर प्रसादे भाई ए भव तोरिया जाए कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए जहाँ होइते गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्या चित्तते कोरियाख्या आरना कोरी हो माने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तमा गति जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते दे दे गाय जाहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जानार बंधु लोकानाथ लोकेर जीवन हाँ प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया एबे जाश घुषु त्रिभुवन श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन गुरुदेव लोइलो शरण जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा 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 जय गुरुदेवा निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल Translation: The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord birth after birth. From him ecstatic prem emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. You are the friend of the most fallen. All glories to Shri Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Manjari, for joining. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripasindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. And also requesting everyone to kindly share their notes. I will also share my painting notes Okay, Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.